All right, good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay in getting started. Had a late flight. Got in this morning from Miami, so was supposed to be here a lot earlier yesterday. Like in yesterday evening, but such is life. All right, so let's just jump right into what's been happening or what was happening. Uh, let's first go over what economic data is coming out. Okay, bear with me 1 second. Where'd that go? Okay, so for economic data, can everyone hear me okay, by the way? Can you folks hear me? Yeah, okay, just making sure. All right, so thank you, just making sure. All right, so right now we've got for the 20th only one thing that I see, which is, well, we had building permits and housing starts that already came out. Both came in better than expected. And then we have at 11:45 a.m. Eastern, we've got FOMC member Williams speaking. Apparently, they're not expecting this to have much of an impact, so we'll see. And then that's it. So not a lot of news. Um, Now, as far as stocks that were moving on Friday, of course, market was closed Monday, so let's take a look at Friday's action. So, in no particular order, let's start off with PayPal. As of right now, the market's trading lower than it was on the close on Friday. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, PayPal, it did reach target number one to the top, 66.82, and reached a high of 67.15. So it didn't get anywhere close to target number two of 67.69. Then it reversed and went to a low of 65.12, which was 65.22, which was very close to 65.08. Then it went back to target number one again. So very volatile day for PayPal, but not able to continue in any particular direction. Roku was bearish, and it was able to get down to target number one of 70.72, almost to target number two of 69.96 to the downside. Next up, we have Moderna, which was able to hit target number one to the top of 133.17, exactly the high of the day. Hit target number one exactly to target number one to the top, and then hit target number one to the bottom, which was 128.73, and reached a low close to 120, like 126.98 or something like that. So it didn't really hit 126.52, which was target number two, but that's a lot of movement. So again, really big volatility. This is kind of what we've been seeing that we saw on Friday. So we have Paramount Global, which was able to reach target number one to the downside of 16.30. We have Apple, able to reach target number one to the downside of 185.32. Qualcomm, able to reach target number one to the downside of 123.12. Didn't reach target number two at the bottom of 121.65. It only got about 2/3 of the way there. Meta was able to almost get to target number one, which was to the top, which was 287.96. It actually topped out at 287.85, so 11 cents short of that. Then it also went down to target number one to the bottom of 281.54 before that. So again, very volatile day. Stocks just swinging in wide ranges. Rivian was actually exploitable, while most stocks were really difficult to trade because of that volatility, and they weren't doing it smoothly. Rivian did have a nice smooth move up. It went up to well, it's not the smoothest, but it got up to 1582, which is target number one to the top, topping out at 1609. So it didn't hit target number two to the top, and then it went down to target number one to the bottom at 1478. But it was a nice smooth move, so much more exploitable. Broadcom AVGO just was bearish, able to hit target number one to the bottom of 877.20, and then almost got to target number two of 865.12, target number two to the bottom. Almost got to there by the end of the day, but it didn't actually get there. So, let's see, Billy, very bearish as well. BILI went almost to target number two of 1734. Billy bottomed out a few cents above that. Google actually hit target number two to the downside at the end of the day, which was 123.35. And let's see, Lyft just went down to target number one to the downside of 1032. Amazon was able to hit target number one to the downside of 126.23. And I guess I'll include DXCM, which hit target number one to the top of 133.90. Then turned around and hit target number one to the bottom of 130.10 at the end of the day. So, in short, Friday was not a day where we saw a lot of good trends. And the ones that were better tended to be to the downside. So for that reason, as we were looking at it during the day, it became clear that it would be better to reduce the amount of trading, because if you look, the NASDAQ had a great trending day the day before that on Thursday. But when we got to Friday, it mostly was going down. But even though it was going down, not a lot of stocks were trading consistently lower. They were basically up and down and up and down. So that sort of environment, you have to reduce the size of your trades and the frequency of your trades, as I mentioned during that day, and just accept the fact that not much is going on. That's useful. So as long as you traded cautiously and didn't get too involved in it, then I'm sure you did okay. Obviously, if you did too much on that day, then of course it will work against you. Let's look at what's moving pre-market now and see what we have on the agenda for this morning. We have Lucy, LUCY, which is up 21.46% on 5.3 million shares. So Lucy, number one, is on our radar for the pre-market. All right, next up, we have, I think, DFLI. Let's see if it matches. Okay, yep, it's down 18%, so a change of more than 6%, positive or negative, that checks. Of course, it's NASDAQ, it's over $1, and looking at the volume is at 1.6 million shares, so that does check for us. DFLI. Next up, we're going to look at, and then this one looks like it's a buyout, DICE. Looking at the shape of this chart, so it's a large jump and then it flatlines. That looks like a buyout. So let's see if I'm right. Yep, DICE Therapeutics shares are trading higher after Eli Lilly agreed to acquire the company for $48 a share in cash. Man, these companies have a lot of money. So just buying that in cash. Thank you. So this one, since the buyout price is $48, we're going to stay near that price. This stock looks like it's found its bottom as far as how far down it will go away from that price. It wouldn't trade at or above that price before the deal is finished, because number one, you won't trade above it because it's impossible to make money if you buy the stock above 48 bucks and the final traded price will be 48. Then it wouldn't make any sense. And number two, there is the possibility that the regulators or something might, the regulators might block the deal, or perhaps someone made an error in their assessment of the company and they changed their mind. There's always the possibility a deal could go backwards, but it's very low. So the price basically prices in a slight discount all the time just to compensate for those potential risks. So at this point, that's probably as far down as the stock's going to go. So that one doesn't count because there's nothing we can do with it. All right, VCIG. So we're skip dice because there's nothing we can do with it. All right, VCIG is up 34%, 6.3 million shares. Very active in the pre-market. So meets all of our criteria. So we'll add that VCIG to our IG to our radar as well. Okay. And folks, that is all that I see on my radar. Doesn't mean that's everything because my radar often misses things. So if you folks see any other NASDAQ stocks trading at least $1 per share, and I saw Nikola, by the way. I'm not adding it because it's not moving enough. So if you guys see any stocks, NASDAQ stocks that are at least $1 per share, that are currently up or down by 6% or more, and they have to have traded at least 1 million shares in the pre-market. The volume is the most important metric, by the way. So I see one here in the chat. So if you guys see any others, be sure to mention in the chat. Good one here. LILM meets our criteria. Number one, it's trading above $1 per share. That checks off. Number two, it is up 11%, so it's greater than a 6% move. That checks off. Number three, it is trading at least 1 million shares in the pre-market. This one has 1.165 million shares. And of course, it's a NASDAQ stock, so good job there. Thank you, Bob. Any other stocks that you guys see? BOF. Okay, let's take a look at that. All right, BOF. Yes, it does. 18.74%, 2 million shares. That definitely checks. BOF is now added to our list. Okay, NU deal with Walmart. Okay. Yep, that's definitely active. And this one looks like it's really, really active. So yeah, NUWE, definitely a good one. Currently up 43%, 2.3 million shares. Good. Good. SEIN, Lloyd says, let's see. Okay, so Lloyd, again, so we got to make sure we have the right criteria. So looking at the numbers here, the stock has only changed 0.343%, so not a big enough change in price. And the volume is only 6,829 shares, so not enough volume. So this one does not qualify. So again, we need a NASDAQ stock, which this one is, at least $1 per share, which this one is, but we need it to trade at least 1 million shares in this current pre-market. So that wouldn't be like the average over days or anything like that. It would have to do with that now. Before the opening bell, we have to already be at 1 million shares before the market starts. And then the other thing is that the percent change has to be at least a magnitude of greater than 6%. If it's barely changed, basically there's no evidence that it wants to do anything. So unfortunately, that doesn't qualify. Any other stocks, folks, that meet the criteria of at least a 6% magnitude change in price? We want to see something that's trading at least 1 million shares pre-market, and it needs to be above $1 per share. And of course, it has to be a NASDAQ stock. But anything else you guys see that meets that criteria, let me know. Okay. All right, so I guess that's it for today. So I'll go ahead and wrap up the Premarket Pulse here. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the videos. That allows us to get more traction here on YouTube. We have a growing base of subscribers and viewers, so definitely want to make sure more people get to watch. Also, share this with your friends if they trade stocks or are interested. And if you're not familiar with our program, maybe you're watching this broadcast either way, be sure to check out fundertrading.com, our website. You'll see a link in the chat, and you'll learn more about how we fund traders. And for those of you who are part of the program, I will see you folks in the coaching room in about 15 minutes. Okay? All right, folks, have a great trading day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.